there's the Victory Garden. Lots of plants. And that's James's dinner for today. It's this chicken and tofu pad thai. And of the really old tomato seeds, like these ones were grown to be sold, see, packed for 2013. So these were grown in 2012, and these two have come up so far. I have a couple of those, and I have some sage. This one wasn't as old. This one's 2015 it was grown in. I'm going to talk about Moana 2.
Oh, that's right on top?
Yeah. And Omni Loop, Miss Scarlet, red one, and Nosferatu got the bottom, as far as I'm concerned. So...
Well, that was a remake. It's not the classic.
No. So, anyway, James's dinner, that's about half of what was in this container. And that's the chicken from the half. I added the shiitake mushrooms and the peppers to it. And I had to cook it all at once because there's only one sauce package for one thing, which that's annoying because it's a big container, right?
It's kind of like for a whole family.
Yeah. And so that was frustrating. But another thing that I found frustrating is first I was trying to just pull about half of it out, but the noodles are all tangled in to get, tough. And I had to add some water to it. It doesn't say to, but in order to get the noodles to cook properly. Oh, Elvis is really asking for it today. He's really testing my patience.
Swing. It sounds as though there's some sort of animal being tortured to death.
I know. I should go in there and oil it.
Neighboring yard.
Sneak in the night like the prowlers.
Yeah, we're always good to neighbors and stuff like that. So Colleen's sister wouldn't do anything like that. I think the only time I've never been in that particular yard, and the only time we'd ever go in the yard is when neighbors are having trouble, and you're trying to notify them and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so the food, you'll notice the price tag on that. Well, I didn't pay that. We got it for free from the Salvation Army. Oh, James will talk about something for a minute because he'll want more sauce on that. That's one thing that we were going to mention too, is it's not enough sauce. He says it's too bland, and too bland for James. Well, that's really too bland. And I'm going to have to lock Elvis in the bathroom.
I think maybe I was wrong the last time. We'll try it like this.
You'll try it like this?
Yeah, it might have been, I gave the first bite.
I'll bring the sauce out. I'll lock Elvis in the bathroom.
Sometimes sauces are a little bit delayed action. Pauline put some sauce on, and it was maybe a little strong for my palate. Probably not that strong for most people's palate. That's what it goes. I'm going to be previewing a review of the Civil War dictionary, so I'm working my way through this slowly but pretty surely. I've gone through about a third of it, but that's straight through, but many entries here. I've already gone through several of them several times, 3, in some cases 4 times. Those would be the entries that deal with actual battles and stuff like that. The entries that interest me last are the biographies, short little biographies of, in many cases, really obscure individuals who are generals and maybe even not even generals. Anyway, sorry about that.
No, that's cool. So you can go ahead and try that and see if it's okay. Now, we were given both the what is it called? Chicken and tofu pad thai, and this bag of shiitake mushroom crisps from the library for free, the Salvation Army for free. The seeds that I showed you were from the library for free. But anyway, I'm just trying to show you that save your seeds. I mean, 2012, these tomatoes that the babies, little seeds come from. That's incredible. And they're still coming up, you know. It's just wild.
12
So
years,
I did not expect that. Anyway, I think that one's tofu. Well, you know what? I don't care. So we'll see.
No.
I don't know how this is supposed to be eaten. It seems like there maybe is supposed to be a snack or something, but I can't tell you. So I just put a few on the top of James's meal.
Oh,
And
those are the chips.
Yeah, we'll
Because
see.
they call them croustilles, which is French for chip.
Yeah, so we'll see if they're edible that way. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
This
know
is
how.
going to be a little bit chewy here.
Yeah, I don't know how one is supposed to eat those things.
Yeah, crunchy. Okay.
And are they good?
Not bad.
Okay. So do you think that they could be used instead of croutons in a salad, like maybe an Asian kind of salad or something, or what could be?
That might be a good idea. I don't think of Asian salad, Asian food as being crunchy. Do they have crunchy stuff?
Salad. Sure. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, so we'll try this in a few different ways. I don't know. I like to try new things and see what it's like.
Yeah.
Whatever. So
That sounds like a good idea.
yeah.
People like croutons on salads in the Western tradition.
And I'll say, did I tell you that that's about half of what the
Yeah,
package?
you did
Okay, I
mention
did
that.
say that.
Right
And-
off the get-go. So, yeah.
But also, I put in Napa cabbage. There's really
Yeah.
hardly any vegetables in that. It was mostly,
Noodles and
well, I don't know if that's chicken, really. It's,
I don't know.
says it's chicken. Doesn't really look like chicken
well,
to
it
me.
looks more like chicken
Than
the
that,
tofu.
yeah. So,
You actually got a good eye for the tofu.
so anyway, well, I tried to do my best because I thought, well, you're gonna probably want to put the sauce on, and then you didn't want to have the sauce on the chicken. Whatever. I tried. So, why did Moana 2 get
Yeah, I'm
top
shocked.
of the stack?
That's a cartoon, right?
James is shocked. Well, it's a Disney thing, and the special effects for the water and stuff really were great. I didn't care for a lot of the music, but for the most part, the singers had talent. Dwayne Johnson does the voice of Maui, this demigod, and so he did have some singing parts, and
Oh my God.
yeah, so they had him rap really,
Okay.
which
That might be worse than having him sing. Anyway, I think
don't-
he's a Polynesian
Yeah,
background. right?
yeah. So that's great that he's in this.
I
It's-
guess.
Yeah, but maybe not the singing role. I don't know. That's just me. That's how I felt about it. But some of the others, like there's some sort of a, I can't remember what her name is. She's some sort of a witchy woman, like a bat queen, or I don't know what she is. But she had the woman who was doing her had a really great voice. So anyway, it's always good to have songs in a Disney movie, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I wonder when Dwayne Johnson's going to be allowed to run for president, you know? I'm getting tired of these idiots. Started with Ronald Reagan, and then there was Jesse the Body. That's when I started worrying. I started realizing that there would be a real flunky as U.S. president,
Yeah.
Jesse the Body Ventura. And there have been a few others since, and of course Ronald Reagan, big TV personality, not lack of personality, but
Anyway,
rebarbative personality.
there's a lot of adventure, story, whatever. You don't entirely expect it to make sense. There's going to be some legend and magic, Disney magic and stuff like that, right? So it doesn't matter that much when it doesn't make sense or whatever. I didn't like the ending. I didn't like the idea. It kind of gave me a feel like let's welcome more people into like
Hawaii.
Hawaii or wherever, and it's like, boy, oh boy, it's already pretty crowded, isn't it?
It's overcrowded
And-
with non-Hawaiians.
Yeah,
I'm not
poor
just
Hawaiian
talking
people.
about so-called white people. I'm talking about Japanese, presumably Chinese too. But I think the Japanese on Hawaii outnumber the native people. And the Japanese have had a bad tradition about brutalizing people that they've colonized.
Yeah, well, we were listening to the radio the other day, and somebody on CBC, and oh my gosh, so annoying. I really have to stop the habit of listening to the CBC.
Well, she
But-
can't help it because I have it tuned sometimes.
In the car. Well, I
In
could
the
change
car.
it right away. I could get in and go, oh, it's on the CBC.
Yeah. Pauline has rights of changing. I don't like terribly much distracting driving, so I try not to change the channels too much when I'm driving.
Anyway, so we were listening to one guy on the radio, and he was saying, he was talking about the Hudson's Bay Company and how trading was so bad for the Native Americans. It was just devastating to them or something. And it's like, okay, well, if we're talking about smallpox blankets, all right, yeah. But
Why would the Hudson's Bay do that? They were trading.
It wasn't Hudson's Bay.
Why would they kill them?
no, so trading is not bad for the natives of anywhere. Trading is a good thing for them. What was bad for the natives here were the settlers, were people coming in.
I'm taking
That's
land.
the problem. So, anyway, and it made me wonder how long the host on the CBC, how long he or his family had been in Canada to make a comment like
Settling.
that. Settling in Canada. Anyway, disgusting. So
Trading,
much-
I see, is relatively neutral. I mean, traders would have brought in inadvertently things like smallpox. I don't know if people really realized what was happening.
yeah, I don't know either.
And
I mean-
so, when it happens, it's inevitable. Once it's in a population, especially means of quarantining and stuff like that, it's going to kill people.
So how is the noodle? Do you find the seasoning the right amount now?
It's
or
about
no?
right.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
so
I
you
just
don't
made
need
a
the
mistake
sauce.
the other
Okay.
time.
All right, so that's one thing
Thanks for asking.
about that. But anyway, I don't know. It seems really high, $26.61 for noodles and chicken.
Yeah, exactly right. It's a lot of money. It's like 2 meals in a restaurant. I don't hate to think what restaurant food is now.
Mm-hmm.
You probably something like that would cost $50 in the restaurant.
Probably. But I don't know. I mean, I get my food on clearance or free for the most part. If it's not vegetables, I mean, I'll pay for produce, but I like to get the produce when it's on sale for cheap because then it's in season and it's generally tastes better too. But aside from that, I really don't want to spend a lot of money on groceries unless it's produce. And this meal, it doesn't have the produce, so it's really
Yeah, the important part about the meal is the stuff that you added.
yeah. Like I would have liked to add some broccoli and stuff to it too, but I just didn't have any broccoli or asparagus. That might have been nice.
Some sort of greenery, but
Something, yeah, maybe some
peppers are
kale.
very healthy.
But I had Napa cabbage. That's all right. So anyway, this got top of the stack, and it might be a reflection on this. But honestly, Disney rarely lets me down.
Now, when
get
that
some
idiot Eisner, or whatever his name is, took over, it was pretty bad for quite
I didn't
a
like
while.
the wrapping sort of stuff in that, and I didn't
But-
like the. They almost had some sort of breakdancing moves or something. I don't know. I mean, have them doing authentic sort of
We're
ones.
getting enough of that.
Anyway,
Well,
whatever. I would
Eventually,
have liked that more.
rap is going to be seen as rebarbative as rock and roll is seen now by the younger generations. But in the long run, it's going to be seen as way worse than rock and roll. People listen to that stuff.
Yeah.
So wake up and smell the coffee, people who are just all enthused about rap. Things go out of style. Nothing is forever.
Omni Loop. So this had the woman that was starring in Weeds, if you remember that show. She's one of the stars in this one, or well, pretty much the star. There's another woman in here too that she's co-starring with. But it's about it's an interesting idea for a story. It's about a woman. She's in the hospital and she's been diagnosed. She has a black hole growing in the center of her chest. And they show on the X-ray and stuff, and I guess it would, a lot of the time the cancer will show up as a black spot in an X-ray, right? And I guess that's really
interesting.
What it's coming from. So people would think, well, what if it was a black hole or whatever? And anyway, so it's kind of an interesting idea for show, and it's growing so quickly that she really only has about a week to live. But she has these pills that, it's a great story. I don't want to give too much away. So it's a story about making different choices in life. She chose her family, to have a family, rather than pursuing her career further. And it seemed like she could really go places. And so somebody that was kind of walking side by side with her when she was focused on her career, he ended up doing great things. He got awards and recognition and whatever, and here she is, nothing, right? She has a family. And so it's about, well, what if you could go back and do that, choose your career instead of your family or whatever. And so that's really what the story is about. I don't care for the ending. I don't see why anybody would make that choice. It doesn't make any sense. There are lots of things that I would try. I mean, I would think about, okay, well, how many of these pills do I have? Let's share it around with a whole bunch of people. And so maybe we can share it around with a whole group of the career-wise, try to figure out the answer to the problem or whatever, with more heads or better than one kind of thing, and just get a whole bunch of people that would be really skilled at trying to come up with different ideas, but have the knowledge to do it, whatever. And
so
then
these pills aren't for fun; they are for.
I don't want to tell about
reality?
the pills.
Okay, well,
because it's in here, right?
Okay.
You find out pretty quickly, but because it's important to the story. So anyway, and then there's the pills. The idea, well, you could share it around with your family, and so you all could be experiencing the same thing at the same time.
Okay.
Whatever. So.
Anyway, listening to it from the outside, it sounds kind of creepy, but
Well,
anyway.
It's kind of interesting.
Okay.
Now, having said that, I didn't like the ending, which that's too bad, right? Because it seemed like it could go a lot of different ways, and didn't end up going there. But I mean, I'm not the kind of person, I don't fear death for myself. So I don't know what there is beyond it, but I think there's more of the same. I think because I'm pretty sure that I know who I was in one life. I happened upon, I think I was guided. I think my angels guided me to see that, look, this was you. and here you are now, so things go on, because it was at a point in my life where I was like, my life is already over. Why am I even bothering? So, anyway, so I think that's just going to happen again. I'll come back, and that'll be that. Whatever, we'll see what happens the next time around. I mean, it's interesting because I feel like I'm always so close to getting what I want, but I never get it, or I think I'm getting what I asked for, but it was not what I asked for at all. It wasn't what I wanted, or so it's just an interesting kind of thing. And to see that with my last life, that happened too, and it's kind of, I don't know, I guess it doesn't make me look too forward to the next round, but at the same time, I think, like I was telling James earlier, is I still manage to have fun in spite of it, in spite of it's like some big cosmic joke to take things away from me, or as soon as I need them, or whatever. Anyway.
Well, they say, harken back to one of the things you were saying, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
You might actually get it. Often, I was reading a comment by someone talking about, I think, rock and roll stars, but maybe stars generally. They start out wanting fame, and they end up wanting money, because what comes with fame is usually infamy. I attended infamy as well as fame. And you look at the Beatles, people loved them for a couple of years, and then in 1966, people were burning their records in the southern United States, other places in the United States, burning Beatles wigs and all that sort of stuff. And one of those, John Lennon, who occasioned this, who made the statements that occasioned those burnings, he was eventually killed by, it was an assassination, basically, by a person who was mentally unbalanced, who was manipulated by right-wing Christians and stuff like that. George Harrison was whacked almost whacked by a whacked-out guy. Couldn't have helped George Harrison in his fight with cancer. It stressed him out. So.
Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. It's kind of sad, though, too. I mean, you don't know who... You have a feeling that, well, I knew all of the people that I know now, that I'm close to now. I knew them before. I was close to them before, too, right? But for some reason, we wanted to do this together again, or whatever. I don't know. But it's interesting. Because I think my sister was actually my daughter the last time around.
Younger sister. So.
And I think that's why she calls me Mom, because I think she realizes it subconsciously. But anyway. So, Miss Scarlet, season 5. I can't believe I'm still watching this. I can't believe they're still making it. It used to be Miss Scarlet and the Duke, but the Duke has left.
Dropped
I think
out.
he had the sense he was just like, this show is so bad, I can't work in it anymore. Or whatever.
Well, it's coming out of England. Maybe it's just politically correct. They're striving for diversity. Just get rid of white males, right?
No, because the love interest that she has in this, or I don't know, potential love interest. I mean, there's some sort of chemistry there. He's a white guy.
Of course, but he doesn't get top billing.
Oh, you mean Miss Scarlet does? Yeah, I don't know. Like James was saying, does this have something to do with Clue? No, it doesn't. But since it's a mystery, I think they kind of pulled that in because they were like, oh, what do we call her? Oh, Miss Scarlet. Yeah, that'll work. But she doesn't have red hair or anything, and it's kind of lame. And
they might not have marketed Clue in England. Yeah.
And they were probably thinking, oh, well, Sherlock Holmes was so popular. What can we do? We can't have a male that's a really bright detective and whatever. So, and Murdoch. Murdoch's really popular too, but Can't have a really bright male. You gotta have a woman, and she's not bright, and she's annoying. Whatever.
Oh, that's kind of weird.
Well, I don't like her.
I know, it's just kind of weird.
Because that comes out of Canada.
It might even be put out by the CBC.
Well, Murdoch has gotten lamer too with. They've
Various
put
people
in
of
too
color
much.
and
Oh, for sure, and it's too much,
other
right?
genders.
It's not
So-
believable. Whatever. But still, I'm gonna keep watching Murdoch because I love it. But this, I don't know why I keep watching it. I do not love it. It's not very good at all. Red one. So, another Dwayne Johnson thing.
Oh God.
which,
He will be running for president if
a-
there's ever another election.
A lot
in the
of
United
great
States.
special effects in this. But honestly, I watch it and I go, who's the target audience? It must be aimed at some maybe 12-year-old aggressive boys or something like that. But still, 12 would be too old to be wondering, oh, is there really a Santa Claus or whatever. So it doesn't. So then I'm thinking, well, would it be aimed at 4-year-old aggressive boys? Because there's a lot of aggressive things in here that I don't think young people should be watching. But such is the world today. It's an interesting kind of idea for the story, for a Christmas sort of story. And so I was honestly wondering if I should put it higher, but even though I didn't really care for it, I just thought, oh, they did do a lot of things that are interesting in this, that are different than, you've seen a million Christmas movies. This one's a bit different, right? So, I don't know. Nosferatu.
Bottom of the list.
Bottom of the stack. There were some good special effects in this. It felt like they were putting together multiple movies to make this, and I didn't care for it.
In other words, trying to hit a lot of bases.
Yeah. So, and trying to make Nosferatu seem too sexy, like
Like a vampire.
like the other vampire movies. It doesn't work, right? And
I thought Nosferatu was an Egyptian mummy, but what do I know?
well, I don't think so, James. I watched the original when I was maybe 20 or something like that. And it was actually pretty interesting the way they had it set up. I went to a Halloween cabal, and I got free tickets to it, and I brought one of my friends along. Because one thing lucky about when I moved to Calgary, the first place that I lived in was right near Fast Forward magazine, and they always had free tickets to whatever, to all sorts of things. Or free CDs that they were giving away to the,
Weird.
yeah, or whatever. You just had to be one of the first people in, and luckily I worked Monday to Thursday, and they were giving away things on Friday morning, and so I could be there first whenever I wanted, and I could tell they were a little bit frustrated that they kept giving me the stuff because it was there.
Yeah.
But they could have changed when to give the stuff or whatever. I don't know.
Maybe they were just